Something shocking just came to light in the ongoing saga involving Blake Lively. What was once seen as a firm stance has started to unravel fast, as more details from a confidential deposition start to leak out. Fans and followers are left questioning everything. Did Blake Lively really try to shape the narrative in her favor, only to be caught red-handed? Just days ago, Blake Lively made headlines after a bold legal move that appeared to silence rising voices on the internet. But new information is now circulating suggesting that a major claim she made may have already been quietly debunked. And if that wasn't enough, details from a behind-closed-doors deposition have begun to trickle in, and they're raising eyebrows. Insiders close to the situation are now speaking out. According to them, Blake's statements don't quite align with what's being revealed through legal documents and timelines. Social media erupted with speculation. Was this a case of miscommunication, a misstep in her legal strategy, or something more strategic? This isn't just about one court case. It's about the power of celebrity, the influence of public perception, and the fine line between protecting one's reputation and crossing into dangerous legal territory. The truth is starting to surface, and it doesn't look like the fairy tale image many had of Blake will go unscathed. In this video, we're diving deep into the latest twist in the Blake Lively case, the claim that didn't hold up, the deposition rumors making rounds online, and the implications that could follow if everything continues on this path. So grab your tea, because things are getting steep. One of the most prominent claims made in Blake Lively's recent legal filings has now come under scrutiny. According to newly surfaced documents reviewed by legal commentators, there seems to be a contradiction in what was initially presented to the public versus what's being revealed through the official paperwork. At the heart of it lies a specific timeline, something that legal professionals always pay close attention to. In her filings, Blake's team alleged that certain online commentary had caused reputational harm, but internet sleuths and independent legal analysts quickly pointed out that the timeline of events doesn't align. In fact, some of the content she referenced either came after the lawsuit or had already been removed from platforms. This seemingly small discrepancy has massive implications. If the basis for harm rests on a timeline that can be disproven, it raises serious questions about the strength of her argument and whether her team did the due diligence expected in high-profile litigation. Even more media insiders have hinted that Blake may have relied too heavily on assumptions rather than verifiable facts, and that has opened the floodgates for scrutiny, not just from lawyers but from creators, journalists, and fans who feel their voices may have been unfairly targeted. What looked like a confident legal move now seems a bit shaky. The word overreach is starting to float around in discussions, especially when considering how broad and sweeping some of the legal demands were. Was this simply an error in legal planning, or was it an attempt to use celebrity power to push forward a flawed narrative? Now let's talk about the tea. Everyone's been waiting for the deposition details. While the full transcripts haven't been made public yet, legal insiders with knowledge of the case are already dropping breadcrumbs about what went down behind closed doors. According to sources familiar with the deposition, Blake Lively reportedly maintained a firm and composed demeanor, but her responses raised more questions than they answered. A particular point of contention was how certain content online was interpreted by her legal team as targeted harassment, when according to some interpretations it appeared more like opinion or satire. The deposition reportedly included discussions around her influence in Hollywood and whether she had used her connections to accelerate legal pressure. One line of questioning, according to whispers from those close to the case, focused on whether any public relations strategy was coordinated with the lawsuit's filing. That's where things apparently got tense. Observers are now wondering, was the lawsuit truly about justice, or was it about control? If these allegations gain traction, Blake could be facing a serious PR dilemma. Transparency, once seen as her strength, might now become her biggest weakness. There's also talk of another party being called in for a future deposition, someone with direct ties to both Blake's team and the platforms where the content was originally published. This could shift the spotlight even further and expand the scope of the legal matter, making it more complex and more public. So far, Blake has remained quiet publicly, but as more of the deposition tea trickles out, it may become harder for her to stay silent. And with digital platforms buzzing with speculation, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. The entertainment world is watching closely. Many celebrities have remained silent, but behind the scenes there's chatter. Publicists, legal advisors, and media strategists are reportedly advising their clients to stay out of it for now, fearing potential backlash by association. However, some creators and influencers who were previously contacted or referenced in the filings have started to speak out. They argue that this case sets a dangerous precedent where a celebrity's discontent with commentary could lead to censorship regardless of intent or legality? Fans are also divided. Some loyal supporters stand firmly behind Blake, citing her past philanthropy and public grace. Others, however, feel disappointed, especially now that evidence seems to suggest that not all statements made in her defense were fully accurate. Online forums and discussion threads are ablaze with debates. Was this just a misunderstood legal approach or a calculated effort to suppress voices that didn't align with a carefully curated image? What's fascinating is how public sentiment can shift so quickly. Just a few months ago, Blake was viewed as untouchable, polished, poised, and universally admired. But the internet doesn't forget. And once the narrative starts changing, it can be difficult to rein it back in. The question now is, can she regain the public's trust, or will this be a turning point in how celebrities engage with online criticism in the digital age? The latest developments in Blake Lively's legal saga are more than just headline fodder. They reveal the complex dance between fame, the legal system, and the ever-watchful public. A single claim once believed can quickly fall apart when faced with facts. And a deposition, even conducted in private, can send tremors through an entire PR strategy. Blake Lively has spent years building a career on elegance, professionalism, and relatability. But the current unfolding events are threatening to chip away at that image. Whether the original intention was misjudged or strategically calculated, one thing is now clear: when the truth begins to trickle in, the public listens. As we await more confirmed details from court proceedings and possible future depositions, one can only wonder what comes next. Will Blake's team course-correct, issue clarifications, or continue down the current legal path? Will other content creators and platforms challenge or comply? Only time will tell. But for now, the tide seems to be shifting, and the story is no longer just about one actress. It's about accountability, transparency, and the future of online expression.